Hey guys, MrPokke here, back with another video, and today I'll be going through my first impressions for Firefly, the upcoming latest girlfriend from Penacony. In the creator experience program, I'm going to be going through her E0S1, her team comps with or without Ruan Mei, some of the notable items such as E2 and E6, and just her overall performances in the current Memory of Chaos, right? So without further ado, let's get into today's content.
Subscribe!
So before even discussing the actual performance in Memory of Chaos, I'm just going to be showing a little bit of B-roll over here. Briefly talk about Firefly's hit from what I've been experiencing in the Creator Experience program. So essentially it's split into two different portions. Before complete combustion, which is the ultimate, as well as after complete combustion, which is, you know, when you cast Firefly's ultimate, right? So before the ultimate, you have a basic attack as well as a basic skill. Basic attack, very normal, 20 energy, 10 toughness bar, 1 SP, nothing too crazy, right? And the skill is going to be 0 base energy, -1 skill points, consumes 40% of Firefly's max HP, and recovers 60% of a max energy, deals single target damage, -20 toughness bar. Note that this 60% energy essentially means that Firefly will pretty much always be getting a 2-turn ultimate minimum, sometimes getting even a 1-turn ultimate if you were to encounter situations like Huo, if enemies hit you, right? So essentially, you're always going to be entering into ultimate within 2 turns guaranteed. Talking about the ultimate, that's going to be the complete combustion, advanced action value by 100%, which is basically like E2 in Biblical Lunae, gains 50% break efficiency, 60 speed, and unlocks the enhanced basic as well as enhanced skill. Break damage dealt by 7, you can see over here, it is not break effect, it is break damage received, which is exactly the same as the vulnerability debuff as we've seen from like Werewolves, Lightcone, and all that kind of stuff, right? This ultimate, it will summon the little corner of the action value bar, as you guys can see over there, with 70 fixed speed, which will happen after 142 action value. So after 142 action value, you will end the complete combustion and Firefly needs to cast her ultimate again, right? So what exactly can you do during this ultimate is going to be her enhanced basic attack, which now recovers 20% HP plus 1 skill point, and the toughness bar damage goes from 10 to 15, and keep in mind this is before the weakness break efficiency buff, right? And then for the skill, which is the same thing you're going to be using most of the time, is going to be recovers 25% HP, -1 skill points, and implants fire weakness onto the main target for 2 turns, dealing 50 toughness bar to the main and 15 adjacent before the weakness break efficiency buffs. Essentially, you're going to be using this enhanced skill pretty much 99% of the time because of the way how super break functions, as we're going to see later on. Firefly will want to use this skill as much as possible to deal as much damage as possible, right? Honestly, not that insane on talent, which is basically increasing our damage rest the lower the HP our Firefly gets, as well as the fact that during our ultimate, it will reach the maximum amount of 40% damage rest. So make sure that our Firefly doesn't get one shot, especially before she enters ultimate. She will consume a 40% of her max HP rest, so she might be a little bit squishy, and this trace, it just serves as a pretty comfy option. Also regenerates energy to 50% every single time when you start battle, so it's going to be pretty good for Simulated Universe, it's going to be pretty good for Overworld. In Memory of Chaos, probably not important because it always does the same, so that's going to be there, as well as dispelling or debuff when energy is regenerated to the maximum. This can be quite useful, especially if you were to be up against enemies with a lot of annoying debuffs, such as Automatron Gatekeeper. There's the weaken debuff, which can severely affect your damage, or if you're going to be like dangerously low, or if you're on the wind shear or the DOT, then this is going to be really, really nice, right? Jumping into the technique, which is the last point and the most important point, I've also mentioned this before in my CM Pony opinions, as well as the fact that we have seen from the live stream. It will implant 5 weakness to all enemies for 2 turns and deals 20 toughness bar damage to all enemies. So this is pretty much the technique that you're always going to be using because it is applied to all enemies. Even if you're using Firefly in stages that are not with the fire, you can pretty much always use Firefly. So this is a really, really good technique. And before we talk about the actual kit itself or her actual performance in Memory of Chaos, from what I've experienced, this is going to be the signature Lightcone, which is increase the wearer's break effect by 60%. When the wearer deals break damage, inflicts routed, which is 24% increased break damage from the wearer, and their speed is lower by 20%. So this is basically a 24% vulnerability for break damage. So this does stack very, very nicely with Firefly's combustion, which means that you can hit 44% vulnerability. Only other destruction Lightcone that even comes close is actually not a Gacha Lightcone, but 4 of the Aeon, because as we know from the major trace, Firefly does scale a little bit of break effect from increased attack, right? So that's going to be beneficial. But TLDR, this Lightcone is going to be quite good for Firefly. Do you need it? Probably not a must, because you can use the 4 of Aeon, which is a completely free Lightcone, and it's a pretty decent alternative. Note that for this speed reduction by 20%, is not not really going to be that impactful because we are going to be assuming that we are going to be running Firefly with Ruan Mei as well as Harmony main character, right? So because of this, there's a 30% action value delay from Harmony MC as well as a 50% action value delay from Ruan Mei. So the speed reduction is really not that impactful. If you're not running Ruan Mei, then this 20% speed reduction could see some usage. If you have to choose between like an E0S1 Firefly or like an E0S0 Firefly with a Ruan Mei, definitely go for the Ruan Mei first because Ruan Mei is pretty much almost not negotiable for a Firefly team, which you guys can see later on. I'm going to be showing you guys, right? So that's going to be that for the Lightcone. And then for an alternative, if you do not want to get the Central Lightcone, 4 of an Aeon is honestly a pretty good alternative because the technique will grant you 1 stack and then using your skill into an ultimate, because remember, with our skill, we do get 60% maximum energy, right? So it's going to be skill, ultimate, enhanced skill is going to have 2 additional stacks. So TLDR for 4 of an Aeon, you're pretty much going to be at maximum stacks for the attack buff throughout the entire battle. So it's going to be really, really nice. And the very high base attack as well as the high attack percentage buff will result in almost equal to the break effect you will obtain from a otherwise break effect Lightcone, right? But it does miss the break effect vulnerability. One last portion of Firefly's kit is going to be Eidolons, right? For Firefly's Eidolon 1, when using enhanced skill, ignores 15% of the target's defense, and the enhanced skill does not consume skill points. Overall, a very, very, very nice change. 15% defense ignore is always going to be good, but keep in mind, you do need to stack this on, right? And luckily for us, because we are going to be using the brand new 4-piece ready stack, which does ignore up to 25% of the target's defense, this E1 is going to scale very, very nicely, allowing Firefly to ignore 40% of the target's defense, right? So very, very nice. And if you players do have an E1 Ruan Mei, that's going to be another 20% defense reduction. So overall, just scales very, very well. E2 Firefly is going to be when using enhanced base attack or enhanced skill to defeat an enemy target or cause them to weakness broken, we gain an extra turn and can trigger again after 1 turn. This kind of reminds me of E2 in Pivotal Dune because let's be real, 99, not even 99, 100% of the time when you enter into Firefly's enhanced state during the ultimate, you are probably going to be killing something or breaking something, right? Like a crazy girlfriend. But anyways, yeah, you're definitely going to be able to get this benefit. So essentially, it translates to E2 deals a variation of getting an extra turn. And as you all know by now, E2 deal is a completely different beast compared to E0 deal, right? Eidolon 3 is basically acting as skill in basic, so not too much to be said over here. Eidolon 4 is going to be increase Sam's effect rest by 50%. Frankly speaking, this honestly doesn't matter that much because that means that you do get another 30% effect rest when you enter into that combustion state. Not a complete immunity to any crowd control, still a very, very good number of effect rest. This kind of prevents a situation where if your Firefly were to get hit by any sort of hard CCs during her ultimate state, then this will greatly negate this from happening, right? And do keep in mind, yes, if Firefly gets crowd control during your combustion state, it's going to be a very, very, very big damage drop off because the kernel is still going to keep going, and if you are frozen or stunned or whatever, it's going to be really bad. So this is just a more of a comfortable Eidolon. And Eidolon 6, when in complete combustion, increase fire res spin by 20%, and when using basic attack or enhanced basic or enhanced skill, increase break efficiency by 50%. Well, first of all, res spin is scales with all of our break effects, right? And another thing is weakness break efficiency by 50%. Once again, super break damage, it scales with your weakness break efficiency. Your Harmony MC, all scales with weakness break efficiency. You add this on with Ruan Mei, Ruan Mei's damage, Ruan Mei's break effect, Ruan Mei's break efficiency, Ruan Mei's res pen, alongside with Harmony MC, this E6S5's damage output. Not only does it make this damage absolutely insane, especially for super break, it also makes Firefly pretty much break almost every single target instantly. I'm going to be showcasing you guys exactly how ridiculous this E6S5 is, but yeah, this E6, you are pretty much just going to be breaking almost everything, and your damage is going to be completely off this world, right? So that is going to cover up Firefly's kit as of the Creator Experience program. I will now basically jump into the in-game performance of Firefly. So I'm just going to be showcasing you guys at first E0S1 Firefly, first half, second half, and I'm going to be showcasing you guys E0S1 Firefly without Ruan Mei, just to let you guys feel the impact of running Firefly without Ruan Mei. Now afterwards, I'm going to be showing you guys one more run of E2 Firefly, and then finally going to be an E6S Firefly, just to see exactly what she's capable of doing, right? So jumping right in, we are going to be starting on the first half featuring Firefly, Harmony Trailblazer, Ruan Mei as well as Gallagher. This team is pretty much going to be the best in slot for not just Firefly, but pretty much most break comms are going to be running this. If you want to replace any of these units, like for example, if you change Gallagher out for like an Adventuring, or if you change Ruan Mei out for like, I don't know, like a Bronya or something, do expect there to be quite a significant dip when it comes to performance, right? So Firefly team building, when it comes to the unit, when it comes to restrictions, it can be quite high because there's really not a lot of replacements we have right now, because we don't really have a lot of break supports aside from Ruan Mei as well as Harmony Trailblazer. So as you can see over here, we are now officially kicking in. So far, the damage has been really, really good. Not sure if you guys see the damage over there. And now we're going to jump into the Super Break. 405,000 featuring Ruan Mei's buff, Harmony MC's Super Break, as well as all of the damage. So very, very good damage so far. And I do believe that we are going to be getting a zero cycle right here. That's going to be very, very easily cutting through 281, very easy getting a 0 second. And just note that I mentioned at the start, Firefly is pretty much always going to be using this enhanced skill, even if it's against a single target, because the nature of how Super Break works is Super Break's damage, it increases with break efficiency, the toughness bar damage dealt by your ability. And because our enhanced skill, it will always deal more toughness bar damage. Most of the time, if not every single time, you are going to be using Firefly skill in order to do as much damage as humanly possible, right? So that's going to be that. So now jumping into the path with Argenti, we are going to instantly kill the Trotter, bringing up our Firefly's action value, because, you know, this MOC buff, we do get an extra turn whenever we kill the pig or break the pig, right? So that's going to be very nice. And note that because Firefly applies fire weakness, Gallagher is pretty much going to be a very, very good support for Firefly, because he is also going to be of a fire element, right? So they can both break toughness bar damage, deal super break, and all kinds of stuff. And notice how Argenti is already at 3% HP just off the start, and instantly getting into phase 2 with no effort whatsoever. Just an absolutely insane amount of damage, even though this is a single target, right? So Firefly damage is definitely going to be there. But note that if you are not going to be breaking the target, the damage is going to be very, very lackluster. You really, really need this to be broken before dealing any semblance, because as you can see just now, it's only 11,000, and just is really not that great, right? So that's going to be that. The mobs are going to be dealing their things. Don't really have quite enough to break Argenti. He's still going to be there. So because of this, our kernel is going to be reaching its full uptime. So we are no longer able to squeeze in another action. So it is unfortunate that we are not able to get this zero cycle, right? So Harmony MC is going to go ahead, pass off the ultimate. This guy is not with imaginary, so unfortunately we can't deal any sort of like a imaginary toughness bar, so it is a little bit of an unfortunate situation. Ruan Mei is gonna do the basic attack into an ultimate, because, you know, Ruan Mei's ultimate is always really good, and then Firefly's ultimate is gonna come down after this ends, right? So unfortunately not able to get a zero cycle, but the damage so far has been very, very significant. Gallagher getting a little bit low there, but I'm just gonna go ahead and call power of the ultimate. 291,000 damage on the Gallagher, by the way. Absolutely insane super break stuff, which is why Harmony MC just works so well with a break team, because even your sustain like Gallagher can just do this amount of ridiculous damage, right? So now we got instantly back into Firefly's ultimate, so pretty much having no downtime whatsoever. Very, very nice. You can essentially almost always stay in Firefly's combustion form, unless something is seriously wrong, right? So pretty much almost a zero cycle. If we had a little bit more speed, then we might have actually gotten a zero cycle, but basically, I think the most important point to note over here is, because of all of the damage as well as all of the energy we have obtained from all the kills and stuff, we are pretty much always going to be getting 100% uptime, right? So you see, the moment we get this, we get the ultimate instantly. So there's essentially no downtime on Firefly's ultimate, which is really, really nice for us. All right, so that's going to be that for our very first showcase. That's going to be a one cycle against Argenti. Now, going into the second half, that is going to be a stage more favorable for Firefly, since it is a mob that has the shared health pool, right? So exact same team, no change whatsoever. Ruan Mei is going to go ahead and pop off the ultimate. A very standard start. Firefly popping over the skill. We're only going to be casting our ultimate after our Fire MC. Let's get this go. So pop this right here. And then we are going to be dealing with Harmony MC's Super Break. Get this into effect. Let go of this damage. What is going to be absolutely insane. 393,000. That being said, Trotter does inflict damage a little bit. But you can see we get an extra turn from Trotter and absolutely demolishing the enemies with no efforts whatsoever. And at this point, I do believe that we are going to be getting a very, very, very comfortable clear over here. And then now going into the second half, this is going to be the shared pool, so it's going to be quite nice for our Firefly, since we are able to deal our damage to every single target. Absolutely breaking all of them instantly, as well as the fact that we're gonna go again, not casting my Harmony Troopers ultimate right now because, you know, I don't need it, and 718,000 damage because why the hell not, right? So going into this again, this is gonna be a very nice 125,000 super break, and then they're gonna pop this off or whatever Power Ranger stuff over here. No reaction whatsoever. They're gonna start over here. We still have our Galactic ultimate, still very healthy, no issues. And then unfortunately our Harmony MC gets slapped, but we are gonna be quite lucky in the sense where as long as our Firefly does not get any crowd control, that's gonna be completely fine, right? So Harmony MC is gonna get crowd control, but at this point we already have Harmony MC's super break buff, so no problem for us whatsoever. Ruan Mei is gonna go again and cast our skill, not quite enough to get the ultimate, so a little bit unfortunate over there, but we can still very easily break the entire target. 476,000, absolutely ridiculous amount as well as additional damage from the Firefly tracers, and then we're going for another damage of 610,000, completely demolishing the second half at 0 cycle, right? So this is going to be the potential of a E0S1 Firefly running alongside with Ruan Mei, Harmony Trailblazer, as well as Gallagher. But what happens if you do not have Ruan Mei? So I'm going to show a situation where if players do not have Ruan Mei, I'm just going to be running Pella because she does have AoE defense down, pretty skill point positive, so we can let our Harmony MC as well as Firefly let go of a little bit more damage. But you guys will come to realize that the moment you let go of Ruan Mei in this team comp, the damage will fall off by a very significant margin. Although we can still break, right? We can still do that, but now you can see I can't break the target instantly anymore because we do not have Ruan Mei's witness break efficiency for the mob over there, right? So a little bit less comfortable. Actually, not a little bit. It is in fact quite uncomfortable without Ruan Mei. So the guy is just not going to be broken. We do have Gallagher to kind of follow up a little bit more, so it's not that bad. But you can see the damage, it definitely falls off by quite a bit. It's going to only 268,000 against 3 targets back to our previous comparison. I believe we hit like 300 or even 400,000 damage with Ruan Mei's Tendon Nobulum, Reboom, Res down, break effect, break efficiency, all that kind of stuff. So very noticeable downgrade, and I don't think we are gonna be quite enough to get the 0 cycle on the first wave here because Firefly is really way too slow. We do not have Ruan Mei's speed buff as well, so it's just gonna be in a little bit of an unfortunate situation. So we are gonna get hit here. Who's he gonna sleep? Alright, no issues whatsoever. Got a fair rest, that's quite lucky. But at this point, it is not going to be possible for us to get the 0 cycle. In fact, we are quite far off from the 0 cycle. It is what it is. Firefly is going to go again over here, and then after this, we are going to exit out from our combustion state. Almost taking away this enemy right here, but it's not quite enough. So this is going to be our one last action. Is this going to be enough? Ooh, unfortunately, not quite. So we are going to... Oh, okay, never mind. We got an extra action from Trotter, so that's gonna be quite good. But because we didn't break the because we did not break the target, we did absolutely no damage whatsoever. Because the thing with Firefly is if you don't break the target or the target is not witness broken, you don't have any additional damage, and all of your break effect is just completely useless. Firefly is not boot hill, right? She does not have crit whatsoever. So this is gonna be a situation that you're gonna be facing if you do not break the target with Firefly, or in fact anyone in your team, right? As long as the target is not witness broken, it's just gonna be a very unfortunate decision. So at this point, we are gonna be exiting out from our combustion mode, and then we're just gonna be doing this. Firefly is also not quite enough to get into another action over here. So I don't even think we can get the 0 cycle. We can't even get the 2 cycles. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this should be the case because I'm just gonna let this play by itself a little bit. Yep. Okay. Yep. We get the clear here, but at this point, it has already been 2 cycles. We are gonna go into the second half. Remember, this was the stage that we had almost no efforts when it comes to 0 cycling this stage when I used Ruan Mei just now. So this is just going to show how crucial it is for Firefly to be ran with a break supporter such as Ruan Mei, right? The break efficiency, the break effect, the res down, they are all very important for Firefly. In fact, for all of our damage units over here, Harmony MC, Gallagher, because super break, it does scale with like res down on counter. So Ruan Mei is just generally a absolutely pivotal unit when it comes to Firefly. But so far, our damage over here is still quite good because, you know, shared health pool, and we can break all of them at the same time. So we are still going to be dealing a decent chunk of damage. And at this point, because the targets, they are not going to be witness broken anymore, so do not expect Firefly to be dealing any semblance of damage. So you can see here, now the targets here are going to be witness broken, and we're just going to be dealing absolutely no damage whatsoever. It is what it is. We do have to wait for a Firefly second action up. Okay, Gallagher is gonna go ahead and just do a little bit of slicing and dicing. 40,000, very nice super break on the one target over here. So now all targets are gonna be broken, and Firefly can actually proceed to do her own super break damage, which is gonna be a very nice 474,000 into a 200,000. So the damage from this is still definitely enough. But without Ruan Mei, we are unfortunately gonna go into the 3 cycle clear, right? So even when we do our ultimate with Pella, even if we do our basic attack, it is just unfortunately not quite enough. So we are going to be going into the 3rd cycle. But at this point, I believe that I did manage to squeeze in the 3 cycle clear. Let me just get a look over here. We get an extra break from the pig, and then we're going to cast our skill one more time, get into our enhanced ultimate, into the combustion mode, and then we are going to be able to very easily get rid of all of them in a single sweep. Boom, 600,000. Very, very nice. Getting us the 3 cycle clear, right? I'm not saying that Firefly is just completely unplayable without Ruan Mei, but I can see from a very comfortable 0 cycle to a 3 cycle clear without Ruan Mei goes to show just how important Ruan Mei is when it comes to a Firefly team comp, right? So that was gonna be the E0S1 showcase with the 2 sides as well as 1 side without Ruan Mei. Now this is gonna be an E2S1 Firefly against the first half, that is Argenti, and we're gonna see how this is gonna be performing. So essentially, people are thinking this is gonna be the next second coming of E2 in Pivotal Dunay, and we are gonna see how this is gonna be performing. So very, very normal start, nothing too crazy over here. Ruan Mei is gonna pop off the ultimate, and then we're gonna do the exact same thing. Cars our ultimate, and we are gonna be very, very easily gonna be breaking a pig right here. And keep in mind, because breaking this trotter, we do get an extra turn, so we're gonna get one over here. We are gonna get another extra turn because of our E2, giving us back, and we are still at very, very healthy skill points because, you know, we don't consume skill points anymore, and just completely decimating the target. And then at this point, because we are gonna be hopefully getting a kill, and we do get a kill over here, we are going to be getting another extra turn. So let's just see if we get here. Okay, anyway, they already did, right? But if we didn't, they didn't die here, that was going to be another extra turn, right? So very, very easily getting the clear. And then now we're going to go into Argenti, casting our break from Gallagher, almost going to target, and then we're going to get boom into another extra turn. Absolutely insane damage right now, and then we are gonna be starting this, right? Unfortunately, Argenti is not way to imaginary, so we can't really use our Harmony MC's weakness break efficiency from our imaginary bounce attack, so a little bit unfortunate. And because we do break the summon, we now get an extra turn to break Argenti again. And at this point, we are gonna be able to get into our final enhanced skill, popping this off, completely destroying Argenti. And since this has a innate cooldown of 1 turn every other turn, if that didn't kill, because we broke the summon, we are going to be getting another turn after that. I'm going to leave it up to you guys to decide if this Eidolon 2 is going to be worth it. From my experience, it's really, really fun to just get like a lot of turns with Firefly's E2, right? So very, very nice for us over here, right? And then this is going to be an E6S5. You know what? I'm not even going to say anything. I'm just going to let this battle play by itself, and you guys can just see how ridiculous this E6S5 Firefly is. And with that, we've come to the end of today's content. Let me know what you guys think about Firefly's first impressions. Is she good? Is she insane? Are you gonna get her? All the kind of stuff. Leave down in the comments below or join the Discord, discord.gg for this Pokke video. We're a very active community on Honkai on a daily basis. When checking out my stream, that's twitch.tv for the music. Due to the conference stream today. Check it out on the Discord. Right? So that's all hell for today. All the best for the Firefly pools, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.